Yes, it's been a long time since I did the last Read-Aloud. Yes, I know. Different location. Yes, I know. But that's the point of today's video. Just came here to watch me read Underpants. My old Sesame Street COVID mask. Get rid of that. Anyway. Underpants, the book about Puck 2. The Adventure of the Ridiculous Robo-Boogers. The 7th epic novel by Dave Pilkey. And, yes, throughout this book, just like last time, I'll be using Boogers and Boogers interchangeably, depending on which I prefer at the time. Hi everybody, welcome to the second half of Underpants to buy a book right. This comic book should give you a pretty good update on our story so far. Excuse me. The sad truth about Underpants. Once upon a time, the sequel gives you Georgia Hill. We're mega goofy. Me too. But unfortunately, they made a person called Mr. Crop. Blah, blah, blah. Is the one that they hypnotized with the 3D hypnotic. You obey our every command. Mr. Crop became under their control. You're now a monkey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But they made a terrible mistake. You're now Captain Underpants. Oh no! Yeah, it was funny until he jumped out of the window. Hey, come back here! No way! Mr. Crump thought he really was a real superhero. He got into all kinds of trouble. Oh no! One time he almost got killed by a dandelion. Oh! So George stole some superpowers from UFO, and he gave it to him. And Mr. Crump got superpowers. Now he can fly and stuff. Here we go again. Now whenever Mr. Crump hears somebody snap their fingers, blah, 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 snap, he turns into Captain Underpants, and whenever CU gets water on his head, he turns back into Mr. Crump, blah, blah, blah. So remember, don't snap your fingers around Mr. Crump. But that's the only first part of our story. Read on. Okay, there's this other kid in our school named Melvin Sneely. I'm a dumb nerd. And Melvin invented a combined thinking that more of stuff together. First, he combined his pet hamster, Sula, with a robot. Eureka! Created the world's first bionic hamster! Next, he tried to combine himself with a robot, but he sneezed at the last second. Then he accidentally got combined with a robot and his boogers. He became the bionic booger boy. Uh-oh. Then one time he got a cold. And then he got mad and turned into a monster. Then he ate up Captain Underpants, but Sulu, the bionic hamster, beat him up. Then Melvin's parents came and reversed the combined thingy. They exactly went and blow away the boogers. Zap! Boom! Now, Melvin and Mr. Crump are safe, but something was wrong with them. Oh, dumb nerd, blah, blah, blah. And then the boogers came to life and smashed the combined thing. Crash! And the chase was on. The end of part 1. Chapter 1, Georgia Hill. This is George B. Harold. George is a kid alive at the time of the flat top. Harold is the one with a t-shirt and a bad haircut. Remember that now. This is Mr. Crump, Melvin Steele, and Sulu the bionic hamster. Mr. Crump is the one on the left with the underwear and the bald head. Melvin's the one on the right with the bow tie and the glasses. And Sulu the bionic hamster is the hamstery-looking one in the middle with the laser eyeballs, the macro-hydraulic jumpatronic legs, the super sumbobulating mini atomo arms, the virtually indestructible flexo gromonic endoskeleton, and the twin turbo 3000 SP5 Kung Fu titanium lithium alloy processor. Remember that now too. And these are the ridiculous Robo-Boogers. I'm using it interchangeably again. 3 of the most violent, most disgusting, and most terrifying creatures ever to drip across the face of the earth. Even their names were horrible, monstrous monikers, the sound of which would drive madness into the hearts of the bravest of heroes. If you dare to know their nightmarishly deplorable names, I will tell you. But don't blame me if you have to sleep with the nightlight on for the rest of your life. Their names were, from left to right, Carl, Trixie, and Frankenbooger. See, I told you they were scary names. Carl, Trixie, and Frankenbooger each bellowed out terrifying, ear-piercing screams of unstoppable furies. They chased our heroes down the city streets. Finally, the Robo-Boogers cornered everyone in the dead-end alley. The 3 Flemish fiends oozed closer and closer till at last they leaped toward their prey. The situation had become so frightening that George hailed Melvin and Mr. Crump closed their eyes silently, waiting for the terrifying sounds of their own inevitable demise. But instead of hearing inevitable demise-y type sounds, our heroes heard something quite different. You see, at the very last second, Sulu the bionic hamster stretched open his flexogromonic jaw and shoved the 3 boogery BMFs into his mouth. Sulu's bionic cheeks swelled to capacity as he raised his furry head toward the sky. Then, with the force of a lunar shuttle lift off, Sulu shot the 3 slimy villains into space. The 3 ridiculous Robo-Boogers sailed through the sky like cannonballs. In no time at all, they left Earth's atmosphere and began sailing toward Uranus. I know that joke's getting old. It's the 21st century after all. Anyway, the terrifying battle was over. Well, that was a really quick story, said Harold. This is going to be our shortest adventure ever. Ain't that the truth, said George. Chapter 2, and 8. Unfortunately for Georgia Hill, their adventure had only just begun. As everyone went back to school, a confusing argument got underway. I want my hamster back, said Mr. Crump. Your hamster, George. First of all, he's our hamster now. And second of all, he never belonged to you. He belonged to Melvin. I don't care who it belongs to, Melvin interrupted. Hamsters are allowed in school, especially not in my school. I'm giving all three of you bums a detention for bringing that furry beast into your classroom. You can't give us a detention, Harold. You're just a kid like us. Suddenly, Mr. and Mrs. Sneedley came running toward them. Melvin, you're right! Cried Mrs. Sneedley. We're so happy you're safe, son! Cried Mr. Sneedley. Mommy! Papa! Cried Mr. Crump. He dashed over to Melvin's parents with open arms. The sight of a bald-grown man in his underwear running toward them made Mrs. Sneedley scream in horror. Hey, what's the big idea? Yelled Mr. Sneedley. It's me, Papa! Cried Mr. Crump. Don't you recognize your own son? Getting out of shoot, you weirdo! Mr. Sneedley hit Mr. Crump with her purse. Melvin ignored the commotion as he walked past them all and went into the school. Melvin stormed upstairs and headed for the school office. Everyone except Miss Anthorpe had already gone home for the day, and she was just getting ready to leave too. Just where do you think you're going? Shouted Melvin. Miss Anthorpe stared in shock at the fourth grader standing behind her. What did you just say? She cried in a voice that was rapidly becoming a scream. Who do you think you are? I'm the guy who's gonna fire you if you don't give me my coffee now! Yelled Melvin. Normally, school secretaries don't have the authority to hang a child from a coat hook by his underwear, but today had been a particularly stressful day for Miss Anthorpe. She had been covered in snot, carried through town by a rampaging robotic monster, and worst of all, forced to chaperone an elementary school field trip. Now it was payback time. Chapter 3, Mr. Melvin and Crumpy the Kid. Miss Anthorpe collected her things and left for home, grumbling under her breath as she passed Georgia Hale in the hallway. The two boys could hear Melvin's angry shouts coming from down the hall, so they went to the office to investigate. While they were getting Melvin off the hook, Mr. Crump ran to the office sweating and out of breath. You guys have got to help me, he cried. My mom and dad are trying to kill me. Has the world gone mad? Relax, Einstein, said George calmly, and put on some clothes. George and Hill had already figured out what was going on, so they tried to explain the situation to Melvin and Mr. Crump. You see, said Harold, after you guys got morphed together by the Combinatron 2000, we switched the batteries around and separated you, but for some strange reason, it switched your brains around. Now Mr. Crump's brain inside Melvin's body, and Melvin's brain inside Mr. Crump's body. That's a bunch of bunk! Yelled Melvin. Take a look and see for yourself, said George. He pulled a full-length mirror in front of Mr. Crump and Melvin. They looked at it at themselves in astonishment. I'm a kid again, said the guy who looked like Melvin behind Mr. Crump's brain. And I'm old and fat, bald, and ugly, cried the guy who looked like Mr. Crump behind Melvin's brain. And I have bad breath and creepy nose hairs and oi! Yelled the guy who looked like Melvin behind Mr. Crump's brain. At this point, you might be saying to yourself, dang, this book is getting confusing. Now, don't worry, this will all get cleared up by the end of chapter 17. But for now, let's rename the two characters who have the right brain to the wrong body, shall we? Let's call the guy who looks like Mr. Crump but has Melvin Sneedley's brain Mr. Melvin. We'll call the kid who looks like Melvin Sneedley but has Mr. Crump's brain Crumpy the Kid. Please refer to the handy X-ray chart below in case you get mixed up. Chapter 4, Things Get Worse. Crumpy the Kid climbed up into his chair and demanded to know what was going to be done about this mix-up. I could solve the problem right away if I still had my Combinatron 2000, said Mr. Melvin sheepishly, but it got smashed in the last book. We'll start building a new one, Bob! Shouted Crumpy the Kid. Okay, whined Mr. Melvin, but it'll take about 6 months. 6 months! Screamed Crumpy the Kid. I can't go around looking like a kid for 6 months! I got a school to run, Buster! Sorry, Mr. Melvin whimpered, but building a cellular combiner is extremely difficult. It takes time. It's not easy like building a robot or a time machine or a phototometrist gremlin yet to feel a Triptonic Ziptomizer. Hey, wait a second, said George. Did you just say that building a time machine was easy? Yeah, said Mr. Melvin. It just takes a day or two. Why? Well, why don't you just build a time machine? Asked George. Then you can go back in time to before the Combinatron 2000 got smashed, grabbed it, and bring it back to the present time. Mr. Melvin thought for a moment, then his eyes lit up. I got it, he said, snapping his fingers. I'll build a time machine, then go back in time to before the Combinatron 2000 got smashed, grab it, and bring it back to the... Hey, what the heck is he doing? Everyone turned and looked at Crumpy the Kid, who had just stripped down to his underwear and was now tying a red curtain around his neck. Oh no! Get some water! Get some water! Harold ran out to the drinking fountain, but he was too late. Crumpy the Kid shouted, "Drive it, troll!" and then turned and flew out the window. Chapter 5. Things get worse. Did you guys just see that? Cried Mr. Melvin. Crumpy the Kid just flew out the window. He flew! Yeah, we know, said George with a sigh. That's amazing, cried Mr. Melvin. He must think he's Captain Underpants or something. Or could it be? Could our principal really be Captain Underpants? Well, duh, said Harold. But Mr. Crump doesn't look anything like Captain Underpants, said Mr. Melvin frantically. Captain Underpants is bald, and Mr. Crump usually has hair. Hey, I know, maybe Mr. Crump wears a toupee. I thought you were supposed to be in the gifted program, said George. But how can he fly? Where did he get his superpowers? Asked Mr. Melvin. It's a long story, said Harold. Mr. Melvin calmed down a bit, walked confidently across the room, and sat in the principal's chair. He leaned back and smiled a devilish grin. Well, why don't you go ahead and tell me all about it, said Mr. Melvin. I've got all the time in the world. Chapter 6. Things get worse. George and Hal had no choice but to come clean. They told Mr. Melvin the whole story of Captain Underpants, how they had hypnotized Mr. Crab, how he drank the alien superpower juice, and how his superpowers must have somehow got transferred to Melvin's body along with Mr. Crab's brain. While George and Hal were talking, the smile on Mr. Melvin's face grew wider and wider and eviler. What are you smiling about, said George? This is serious. Yeah, said Hal, we're all in big trouble if we don't switch things back to normal. Correction, said Mr. Melvin. You guys are in big trouble. All my troubles are over. I know it's Neely. I'm going to get back into my old body, but keep those superpowers for myself. I'm going to become the world's first superpowered kid. Hey, you can't do that, said Harold. I can do whatever I want, said Mr. Melvin. I'm in charge now. I look just like the principal, so I'm going to make the rules, and you guys are going to follow them, or else. Or else what? George demanded. Or else, snarled Mr. Melvin, I'll order your teachers to give you guys 12 hours of homework every day for the next 8 years. That shut George and Harold up. Mr. Melvin's first order of the day was for George and Harold to make a new comic book about the world's first superpowered kid, Melvin Sneely. Give me a really cool name, said Mr. Melvin, like Big Melvin or Mystery Melvin. Mystery Melvin, said George and Harold in disbelief, and make up a story where I defeat Captain Underpants and become the world's greatest superhero. And you better not make me look stupid either, Mr. Melvin shouted. Boy, can't make a comic book right now, cried Harold. We gotta chase after Captain Crumby, the Underpants kid. You can chase after him all you want, said Mr. Melvin, after you make that comic book. Now get going. I've got a time machine to build.